So, after about 3 years of development, I think, Cursed Gear has gone public. And boy, it flopped. I mean, I'm just going to be a straight shooter in this video, because that's what I've always done. I've always just spoken my direct opinion. I'm not here to sugarcoat it or be nice or any of those other things. I'm not going to be a dick either, but let's get into it. Obviously, the devs are nice enough people. Rag's a homie, Rag's a nice guy. They're all nice guys for the most part, So I wanted their game to succeed. Not too well, I didn't want Cursed Gear to pop off like crazy, because then that really would be the end of Deepwoken. But I wanted it to do decent. I wanted it to have, its own audience and really expand and build. I was thinking, like, on release, maybe 40,000 players. And it released bugged, right? Infinite loading issues, teleport issues. I mean, for a good portion, you couldn't even play the game. So it peaked out at, I think, 16,000 players. Fell massively. Like, it lost 6,000 players within an hour. They had done some fixes and hotfixed and pushed that out, and the player count recovered from there, but I feel as though the game was dead on arrival, and now it's gone past dead on arrival. It, might as well just stayed CC. And that's a complaint I see a lot of people making, that it should have stayed CC. Now, I did not participate in the close community aspects of Cursed Gear. I had access for, I want to say, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks before it went public, almost a month. And I had never played Nier. I don't really care about JJK, so it wasn't my type of genre, so I had never really gotten into it. But look, it's like building a house on sand. They had developed a game that was intentionally closed community, and then as it evolved over the years, they had decided to move towards an eventual public release, even though they had promised outright that would never happen. But with these devs, you literally can't trust a single word any of them say ever, which is unfortunate, and I'm sure someone will take some sort of offense to it, but argue with the wall, argue in the mirror, because you're the people who make these statements and then fail to live up to them the majority of the time. But some part of me feels like they had released this game. Forget the name Cursed Gear. It should have just been called Cash Grab. Because, I mean, 200 Robux for a face reroll, 200 Robux to change the energy color, and there's a technique that wipes you and you lose your clan and you lose all of these things that you paid real money for. And when testers brought it up to par, he banned them, according to a separate content creator whose video I had watched prior to this, my own. It's just ridiculous. I mean, what the fuck were they thinking? I know, in general, I feel as though Momad prides themselves on Deepwoken kind of stepping away from the industry standard of Roblox, which is just hyper monetized. You have to pay for everything, and it's essentially just one walking, talking lottery ticket. It's one just giant slot machine. I feel as though they prided themselves on Deepwoken moving away from that. Now, Deepwoken has its own issues, right? Race rerolls. While they're not pay to win, that is still considered a predatory sort of gambling system. And buying back a slot for $10, it's about as predatory as it gets. But to release the title, Cursed Gear, to release your next game, and force people to pay 200 Robux to use a feature which is far less polished, has far less options, and again, you have to pay to use it. And then you compare that to their previous game, Deepwoken, where the customization not only is far more in depth, but it's free. It's just ridiculous. And I feel on some level that, yeah, they were like, you know what? We've been working on this game for so long. We're going to give it a public release. We're going to give it its time in the sun. And they would make jokes like, oh, yeah, just let Lime get his yacht and he's going to come back to Deep. Or just jokes like that. Oh, yeah, let them get their bag and then they'll come on over and we'll work on Layer 3. God damn! I mean, was that really all this was? You guys dropped this incredibly predatory monetization scheme and then just said, fuck it. Just gonna rob your community that loves and trusts you and then just say, fuck it? And I can't be too, right, on my high horse, because I had made a slop game, right, with all of the, 2x speed and game passes. I mainly did that to test my development skills, right? I had never done Lua, I had never done like UI design or any of this shit. I just wanted to see if I was capable of pulling it off. And I made a shitty, like, staircase to admin cash grab. But I did it. It was my first ever game. I did it all on my own. Everything. The scripting, the modeling, I did it all on my own. I'm not an established, well-respected developer, right? They hold themselves to a higher standard, and then they just didn't for this. Building upon that, like every content creator has said, like I had said earlier, I think, should have just stayed close community. I know that they'd spent a lot of time on the game and they wanted to have like its moment, right? They wanted it to be free and let people experience it, but it's just not built for that, right? The only way that this could have been free and work is if it came out like later in the year, like probably December. I feel like the Curse Gear like testers, bro, like, were they just lying to the devs? Like, yeah, bro, it's ready to go. It's great. Man, this shit was nowhere near ready. What the fuck? It has way too many legacy aspects from that time in closed community. It just doesn't fucking work. It feels empty and hollow. The one good thing is the combat, right? It is complex, but it is fun when you're winning, right? It's fun when you're winning. The TLDR, like all of the cool parts of Curse Gear that I've seen and experienced would have just been better in Deepwoken. The fucking PMCs and the like bases you can make in CG, that could have just been a comprehensive guild-based rework. Hey, they had said in the original roadmap, right? Conquest, World Events, guild-based raiding. That could have been guild-based raiding, and instead you guys essentially, I feel as though, took the idea you had for Deepwoken, took the systems, took the base idea you wanted to work with, and then you just put it in a different game. It would have functioned way better in Deepwoken. Some of the combat from Curse Gear, like flashing your cursed energy, you could have just fucking put that in Deepwoken, bruh. It would have been controversial, but at least we would have tried things. Flash your ether to like do additional posture or do whatever the fuck. If that gets parried, you're like risking like the knockback you get now where you're like guaranteed to be hit or punished with things like Eclipse Kick. The fucking charged M1s. We already have charged M1s in Deepwoken. The bows have charged M1s. So it's like all of the most innovative, fun, creative parts of CG would have functioned better in Deepwoken, which is a game that already had the infrastructure and the existing support that would have been needed to let these systems really shine instead of forcing them to stand alone. And then, like I just said, with the guild bases that you have in Curse Gear, that system would have been better in Deepwoken. It's also something that they said they would give us and just never did. Another classic letdown. It's, you know, same old, right? This felt like it lacked direction, lacked communication. I don't know why they would lie to the devs. Whoever told them this was ready to go. Shit was not ready to go at all. I mean, we'll see what happens. Like, inevitably what's going to happen is they're going to pour resources into then like updating Cursed Gear and making it better and trying to salvage what can be salvaged, which is going to take time away from Deepwoken. You know the classic, right? Oh, well, it's two separate teams. They won't interfere with each other's update schedule. Well, Rag is the one who is making the weapon reworks. Where do you think Rag has been for the last couple weeks? You know, it's just like, it's like fucking George Orwell. The party asks you to deny the evidence of your own eyes. They just ask you like, nuh-uh, it's not affecting Deepwoken, when you clearly see it is. It's just like an utter lack of respect for their own community. But who knows? Who cares? At the end of the day, they can do whatever they want. At this point, if you didn't already understand that they will do whatever they want, regardless of what anybody thinks, I don't know what to tell you. Let's see, bro, if I still like keep any sort of like fucking tester role after this in Deep. That would be funny, right? If I get punished in Deepwoken for what I say about Cursed. But it wasn't ready. It wasn't ready, and anybody who was like hard pushing for this to come out now was not being truthful with the devs, or if that was an eternal decision, they weren't being truthful with themselves or one another. If they really did want this to succeed, and they did really want the people like if they really wanted their communities to be able to experience something that they were so passionate about, they wouldn't have dropped it in such a dog shit state. That is my unfortunate conclusion. They low-key just said like, fuck it. Like, we're moving on from CG. We did what we want to do. Let's make it public. Let's make some money, and then we'll go do something else. That is genuinely how it seems to me. Draw your own conclusions in the comments. I hope you guys have a great day.